I am Bureau Brazil, Switzerland. Should be an interesting match, and whoever makes it through probably will deserve it, and it should be a good final match against Germany. As we take a look at Switzerland, a lot of good players for Switzerland. Number 5, Cyril Schreiber, also known as Fausto, does dedicate his life. And on the Brazilian side, a lot of good players we see here. As I said, Jorge Alex Schuch, the number 10, probably the top player for Brazil, but then you also do have João Victor Fidelis, number 7, who comes in, can attack, and then Gerson Sulfer, number 6, a great player, a really important player for Brazil. Brazilian side, really good side.
Current world champions, so as far as I'm concerned, they'll do it. But don't underestimate the Swiss. They are a very strong team. They've got very strong nerves. And what you'll see here, you'll see actually two classic differences in lineup. In the one sense, the Brazilians, they love the inverted W or the U formation, whilst the Swiss will play with the center player.
Coming up, I think Brazil's style is a little bit more risky. First serve for Brazil. Jorge Schuch firing down the middle. Center player for Switzerland tried to get to it. The defense couldn't really control it there. Good first point for Brazil.
And he really didn't fire. It was out of the position. It's just the distance from the spiker right to the middle is very, very short, and he's got very short time to react.
That is Cyril Schreiber's nickname, Fausto. Good serve by Cyril. Brazilian defense able to get it back. Jorge Schuch with the spike. The Swiss known for their good defending. Let that one go out. And a match against Brazil, but he is a very good player.
Well, there you see exactly what my colleague said here just now. He's a very good player. He caught number 10 completely unawares, and the ball went out.
When compared to the Brazilian team or the German team and the Austrian team, my friend Winfried Kronsteiner was with us for the other transmissions. He did often say that Switzerland didn't have too much experience, but they are a good team. Set up there for Cyril Schreiber. Cyril Schreiber firing down, but Gerson able to save it. Good setup for Jorge Schuch. George fires it towards Cyril. Nice setup there. And Urs just fires it down towards Jorge Schuch. Did go out there. Good point for Switzerland. Things stand. Brazil 3, Switzerland 2. Good beginning to the match.
Well, it just shows you even the most experienced player that we've got on the game, he can't take all the balls. It's got to be redone, but it is a point for Switzerland.
Serve down the middle again by Jorge Schuch. Good setup by Hugenbrüller. Fausto really touching that one. Jorge Schuch firing it down towards the number 4. Ball still in game. And Cyril Schreiber up to spike. Good spike there by Cyril, but Gerson, the captain, makes a save. Good setup for Jorge Schuch once again. Jorge Schuch puts that spin on the ball. Good setup. Good setup there, but Cyril Schreiber once again making contact with the net. Once again for Cyril Schreiber. Cristiano Velli with the save once again, and the same setup for Jorge Schuch. Jorge Schuch firing it down towards Cyril, but a great save by Switzerland. Would have been a good shot, but the number 4 of Switzerland, Urs Lenzlinger, did make contact there with the net.
Yeah, I tried to be too tricky. He played it down the line, which is, of course, for the defense, which would have been here on.
Good call there by our pro, Rainier Eben. Good serve down to the number 8, Thomas Ungerbuehler. Really couldn't control that one. It went a little far. No defensive player could get to it.
There is now a little bit confusion. The one referee is of the opinion the ball was in, the other one says it was out. We'll have to see what the decision.
On the ball, Brazilians ready to defend. Great serve there by the number 5, Cyril Schreiber. He sent that one really down the middle. Had a nice soft touch to it. Nobody can
only do it if you've got very, very fast sprinters that can cover that gap.
George Shook with the serve. Cyril Schreiber once again with the setup and the spike. Gerson to his brother, Paulo. And the Swiss defend, and Cyril Schreiber attack once again. George Shook with the spike down. Oh, the Swiss just have such a good defensive sector. They really can defend well. And Cyril Schreiber will attacks for the Swiss. Perfect spike down, made it right past the number 5, Cristiano Velho. What a beautiful play.
If you look at a ball like that,
Dietmar Weiss was one of the best spikers in the world and really has one of the strongest arms there to spike. As George Shook has a good serve there. Gets the Brazilian. That they're tired yet, but the Brazilians should be more used to the weather, of course. We are in Porto Alegre, Brazil.
I don't think the weather really bothers the Swiss. They are so well trained and so fit. This should be no problem at all. Here again, number 10, Georgie, hit a ball straight through the Swiss defense. They open up. Schreiber's taking it on again.
Cyril Schreiber on the serve once again. He has made some mistakes here and there, but he is a talented player. He's very young, Cyril Schreiber. He was born in 1983. Paulo with the setup for George. George spikes it down, but Thomas Ungerbuehler was able to make the save. And get a nice setup there for Cyril once again. Cyril with the spike down. Cristiano Velho gets his hand to it, but no go. Switzerland definitely still in the match, and they have really strong support up here by the press area. Serve there by George Shook. Good defending there by the Swiss, and Cyril Schreiber sends it down. Coleman was able to save it for Brazil, and Paulo sets it up for George Shook. Good spike down there by George Shook, but the Swiss again with that strong defending, and they set up always to Cyril. Nice play there by Cyril, and he avoided the net. George Shook tried to go back on that one, but he didn't avoid the net. Swiss point. Brazil on 11, Switzerland on 9. Swiss really trying to close up that gap. Definitely a good side and having a pretty exciting match.
Well, this was an absolutely brilliant stunt, actually, of Switzerland. They pulled open the Brazilian defense and was coming for Georgie, just went too far and he couldn't make it.
George Shook, server for Brazil. Sends that ball kind of down the middle. A good setup there by Thomas to Cyril. Cyril fires it down, but Coleman can defend. George Shook with the spike down. Great spike down by George Shook. Made it past the Swiss players. Nobody could get to it in time, and it did have some power to it.
Now this is probably the most dangerous hit that anybody can make just behind the front player and nobody can reach. As in volleyball, and this what makes this game very, very specialist, and it takes very long to get to this quality of game.
Cyril Schreiber with a perfect serve there for Switzerland. Again, sending it down the middle. Nobody's close to it. Maybe a little soft patch of grass in that area, and it's not getting much bounce to it. Great serve by Cyril. George Shook on the serve for Brazil. Thomas Ungerbuehler gets the save there. Long setup for Fausto. Cyril Schreiber. Cristiano Velho defending. Paulo Sufert on the ball. And Coleman just hitting it over. Set up for Cyril once again. Cyril always attacking for Switzerland. Cristiano Velho with a good save. George Shook with the spike down. Good spike down by George Shook. The Swiss defender, Manuel Cyber, jumped in there. He couldn't control the ball, but nonetheless, the Swiss. A lot of pressure for Cyril right behind him. Good serve there this time, and it makes it right past Coleman. Coleman took a jump towards it. I don't know if Cristiano Velho should have gone towards that ball or not.
Yeah, this ball only bounced about 10 centimeters maximum.
Fast. Good serve there by George Schuck. George Schuck firing that one straight down at Urs Lenzlinger, the number 4 of Switzerland. For him.
Yeah, Switzerland definitely got problems to return these balls of Georgia. There is no doubt about it.
Cristiano Velho gonna save there. George Schuck setting it up for Paulo Sufert. Paulo gonna spike down. Roll switching there. That was a good try by the Swiss players. They tried to bounce that one off the ground, but the number 7, Manuel Cyber, just couldn't get to it, just couldn't hit it over. Brazil 16, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. But Brazil 19, set point here, very important. Cristiano Velho with the defense. Paulo setting it up for Jorge. Jorge making contact with Thomas, able to save it for the Swiss. Nice setup for Fausto. Fausto hammers that one down. Fausto really hammered that one down. Gerson tried to jump into it. And Gerson did make contact with something there. He is falling on the ground now. Could have gotten hurt. Let's see what happens. Brazilian doctors looking at him right now. He's laying down. Maybe take a little breather there. He'll get back into the match, but he really took a dive to save that one.
Okay, the Brazilians for this injury are taking a timeout just to permit the time.
As you see from that replay, really nice setup there by Ciro. Ciro spikes that one down. George Schuck was real far away from it. He couldn't get to it. George Schuck serving. Fired it down. Perfect serve by George Schuck. It made it past Thomas Hungerbuehler. No other defenders could get to it. It bounced twice on the ground. Good point by Brazil, and they close out this set. Brazil were the favorites coming in. Of course, Switzerland, a very strong side. They've made it all the way to the semifinals. But a good first set, and they have to try to bounce back for the second one. What did you think of that first?
They normally wouldn't make, but this is just, as I said right at the beginning, the ball is round, anything can happen, and absolutely madness to see the Brazilians attack, and they won.
Well, the Brazilians do like to attack. That is their characteristics in fistball, much like football, having always an attacking side. George Schuck with the spike down. The Swiss, great defending. We do see a new player for Switzerland, the number 6. Number 6 is Christoph Zender. Christoph Zender was born in 1980, 23 years old. Number 4 with a setup. Once again, Christoph. Christoph wasn't able to make contact with the ball.
So this is one of the things. Brazil opened their account. It's 0-1 for Brazil.
So Schreiber getting the serve there. Brazilian defenders sending a long pass to George Schuck, who just leaves that one. Great job there by Brazil. George Schuck left that one really, really nicely. Cyril Schreiber, Zender, nobody could get to that one. We did have some players sprinting down, but George Schuck, when he likes to attack, he does like to put his own thing in there. Sometimes he sends it down the left. Christoph with the spike down, but Cristiano Velho got to it. Gerson with the setup for George Schuck. George firing towards the number 4 of Switzerland, but they're able to bring it back into their court. Christoph Zender sending it over now. Gerson defending. Number 8 for Brazil setting it up for George Schuck. George Schuck with a nice spike down. The ball did go back. Number 10 of Brazil 4, Switzerland 1.
Incidentally, the center player of Switzerland is now playing a bit to the back. They pulled him back, and it's Urs Lenzlinger that went in.
Swiss player saying that the number 8, Paulo Sufert, making contact with the ball, but didn't seem like no contact there. This match is boiling over, important match. And again, we see that replay. or Paulo jumped towards the ball. It didn't look like Paulo made much contact with the ball.
This is the comment you're being hearing, and this is one of the things where nerves are just on edge.
And Paulo Soufer tries to set it up here for George Shook. George Shook running up, taking the, well, not a spike down, just hit that one over, but they're able to defend. Nice set up there for Christoph Zender. Great shot there by Christoph, and that's the Swiss response.
And Switzerland changes players. Number 3, Urs Lenzling. Number 3, Philipp Hugentobler is coming in, and he will immediately serve.
The number 3, Philipp Hugentobler, also known as Hugi, did have a few important matches for Switzerland. Hugi coming in, making a difference. Really nice spike down there. George Suferd with the serve for Brazil. Swiss defenders.
This serve nearly went wide because the center player from Switzerland was lifting it over to the back, and the back player had to bring it in. Now the Brazilians are on the attack again, and the ball jumps over the line, over the net, and it's a point for Switzerland.
George Shook really didn't get his timing down. And the Swiss are definitely in it. Brazil 7, Switzerland 4. Shook with the serve. Hugi setting it up there for his teammates, and Christoph Zender should spike this one down. Christoph did get a good curl to that ball, but Brazilians were able to defend. As the number 4 who just came in sets it up for George Shook. The number 4, George Sufert, also known as Quach. George Shook. Good serve. Christoph Zender stops it. Hugi spikes this one down, but the Brazilians were able to save. Quach, nice setup for George Shook. What a rally here. Really nice playing. Number 10 of Switzerland, Marcel, just really gets it to his teammate, the number 4, Lenzninger, and he gets it down. What a great play. What a great rally, and a great point by Switzerland.
Well, this is all what foul is about. You've got very short reaction times, and I think.
As you see Hugi there, Philipp Hugentobler. Perfect serve there to Quach. Quach able to save it. Cristiano Velho sets it up for George Shook. George Shook with a great spike down. What an attack there by the Brazilian. Send that one really into the stands. There was no way a Swiss player could have gotten to that one.
Now, if you hit the ball at this perfect position as Georgie does it normally, this ball bounces 5-6 meters up, and it just ends with the spectators. There is no chance for a player to reach it. It's incredible at what power these balls are hit.
Swiss defenders. Christoph Zender is going to spike. He spikes. There's no Brazilian players back there.
Absolutely brilliant what happened here. The center player of Brazil went forward. He actually made a tactical mistake. He left his position about 2-3 tenths of a second too early, and Zender saw this exactly.
To have a talk with Cristiano Velho, just trying to correct that mistake. Serve to Christoph Zender. Number 4 sets it up. It's going to be Hugi coming up for the spike. Good spike. Gerson makes the save. Quach is going to set up for George Shook. George Shook hits it to Hugi. Swiss defender is able to get it over. Christoph Zender.
It was a block. The Brazilian blocked the attack of the Swiss, but the Brazilian touched the net. Too many mistakes. They had to take him out. They had to change.
Serve. Saved by Cristiano Velho. Jorge Schuch gets the setup from Quach. Swiss defenders set it up for Christoph Zender. Christoph Zender sends it to Jorge Schuch.
That's right, just to take him out of play. They've got a second attacker, and this is absolutely brilliant play. He just pushes it over the line. It just lifts off the lawn, perhaps 10 centimeters, and nobody of the Swiss team can reach it.
Great job there by Quach, number 4 for Brazil. Quach's whole name is George Sufert. He is Paulo's brother. George with the spike down. Good save by the Swiss, and Christoph Zender with the spike. Great spike, kept that one in. And he does get the Swiss.
Absolutely brilliant how he pulled it up, and he put it right next to the line, about halfway between the two players on the every nerve.
Nice serve there by Cyril. Coleman was able to get it to Quach. Quach sets it up to George Schuch. George spikes it down, but the number 10 for Switzerland was able to make the save. Christoph Zender sending in towards George. Took George out of the play. Cristiano Velho. Oh, he's setting it up for Quach. Quach is going to try to spike this one down. Nice save by Urs Lenzlinger for Switzerland. And Cyril will set it up for Christoph. Great job there by Christoph, but great save by Quach. Cristiano Velho hitting that one high, setting it up for George Schuch, who's going to spike it down. Cyril Schreiber setting it up for Christoph Zender. Christoph Zender sends it towards Quach, and that one went out. Good.
This was a line of absolutely brilliant play from both sides, returning whatever that was flung at him, and the Swiss were just one up when they brought the ball better to the forward, so that Zender really could put it on Quach, and Quach could only defend himself as far as he could.
Good playing there by both. Serving once again for Brazil. Brazil on 17, Switzerland on 15. George trying to send it down the middle in that soft patch of grass there, but the Swiss were able to defend. Christoph Zender. Great job there. Christoph Zender just left that one. It hit the ground.
We couldn't really say what happened there.
Jumped high. He just was trying to leave that one for the Brazilians. He made it to the other end, but he fell close to the ball. Could it be?
Be quite a pity to stop a game like this. We would like to see a third set.
Cyril with the serve. Serve went wide. Brazil win the semifinal match. What a great victory for Brazil. A great match between the two sides.